a lot of people consider the Black Ops Pass a failure here within Black Ops 4, and to be quite honest with you, I think the expectations and just the standard within the current gaming industry has changed tremendously since Black Ops 3 came out with a successful DLC season. And with that being said, the way the Black Ops Pass is structured is quite interesting, because in one way you could consider it a bit of a scam, because instead of the usual 16 bonus multiplayer maps that a season pass provides you with, we're only getting 12 this year with Black Ops 4. And with their twisted wording of this Black Ops Pass in saying that we're going to have more frequent DLC drops, more frequent updates, it may sound like that on paper, it may even look like that on paper, but in game, the reality is we'd be getting 2 multiplayer maps per DLC drop instead of 4. And if they do that 6 times, they can say, oh, well, there's 6 multiplayer DLCs, more frequent drops. Okay, more frequent drops, but definitely less content. If it was frequent drops of 3 to 4 maps, then we're talking, but 2? That's a bit ridiculous, and I see where the frustration is within the Call of Duty community. And on top of that, we of course have the zombies discussion and how it's not being updated enough. It kind of got shafted for Battle Royale. Development was a crisis behind the scenes. I understand that, and I was talking about this the other day with a couple of buddies of mine. Essentially, Black Ops 4 was near complete in mid-2017. You know, everything was kind of laid out, the groundwork was there, and everything got scrapped to accommodate for Blackout, because Activision didn't know that Fortnite would blow up the way that it did. And when it did, the campaign was scrapped, multiplayer was completely reworked, and Battle Royale was shoehorned in, while the entire Zombies team was put to work on Blackout. I was under the impression that Raven Software had to come in and assist Treyarch with the development of Blackout, and that might have been true, but the Zombies team for the most part suffered because of it. And that's of course why we have the Zombies mode that we do within Black Ops 4. And it's very unfortunate to talk about this, but in terms of the Season Pass and the Black Ops Pass, it got worded very differently this year, but it's really not that different from previous Season Passes in the sense that we're getting DLC drops, but in this case it's less frequent content and it's less content versus the promise of more frequent content. So apparently February 19th is the biggest content drop for Black Ops 4 according to Activision. So that might justify some new zombie maps being added in, some new multiplayer maps, hopefully more than 2. I really doubt it at this point. Now, in terms of the main topic of this video, the Season Pass within Modern Warfare 4, going back to a Reddit post that I read the other day that I no longer can find, but it essentially said this: if you get the Season Pass for Modern Warfare 4, it'll be something along this concept. All multiplayer maps that are later added will be free for everyone, but owning the Season Pass will give you a week early access to these maps. Maybe that's not special to you, but it's definitely a pro for owning this pass if you're really engaged in that Call of Duty. Now, in terms of DLC weapons, this is where things get really interesting. So if you own the pass, you'd get every weapon for free no matter what. Then if they wanted to, they can add some cosmetic variants of those weapons in a tier system or supply drops, whatever it is that might be. But Infinite Warfare, as much as I don't like that game, had a phenomenal DLC weapon system where if you own the Season Pass, you get the weapon, and if you didn't get the Season Pass, then you can get a version of that weapon through supply drops, the legendaries, the epics, the rares, the commons, whatever it is that was with those DLC weapons. But it was a really fair system. So those are 2 perks with owning the Modern Warfare 4 Season Pass. Once again, just the concept, but in terms of the co-op mode, let's say it's a revamped Special Ops with crazy missions, crazy co-op experiences, something really interesting. What if it's Extinction? Whatever that might be. Well, owning the Season Pass will of course grant you access again to maybe a week or 2 early access to that experience. Then you can also buy whatever that Special Ops or Extinction mission is for, let's say, $9.99 or $14.99, whatever it is that might be. So essentially, the Season Pass would be reworked into an early access system, granting you with a week or 2 of early access to multiplayer maps, the co-op experiences, instant access to weapons. Then on top of that, you can get some perks like some new outfits or some COD points or maybe some monthly reward of some sort within the cosmetic side of things, some new variants every month or so, some really nice promise that is worth the $49.99 or the $39.99 for that Season Pass. We cannot stay stuck in the past. There is absolutely no way Call of Duty can compete with these fucking huge Battle Royale games if they're stuck with this traditional Season Pass 4 map pack drop, 6 map pack drop, whatever the fuck it is. There is no way they can stay with that system and expect to compete with these free, quote unquote free Battle Royale games. And The last thing I wanted to bring up was how funny it was listening to the conference call from Activision and how they really just said, we have no plans to release these free games, but we're still going to stick on the mobile side of things and probably release some free mobile games. But in terms of big AAA releases, nope, we're not doing free games there. So once again, Activision is stuck in the past. They're not going to do shit to change, but these are just suggestions for a better season pass so that's not considered a failure next year with Modern Warfare 4. But leave all your thoughts down below in the comments section. This has been dkdynamite. I'm really hyped for whatever Modern Warfare 4 has to offer. I just have my fingers crossed that if it's going to be a traditional Call of Duty with a campaign, multiplayer, and a co-op experience, that the season pass isn't very traditional and it's a little more innovative to compete with some of these bigger releases in the industry right now. But stay tuned for more Modern Warfare 4 gameplay, news, and coverage, and peace out, everybody.